Spider-Man for the PS4 is less than 2 months away from gracing our PlayStation consoles, and it looks like it's going to be the best Spider-Man game of all time. And I am struggling to contain my excitement at this point about this game. I am a huge Spider-Man fan, and this is going to be somewhat of an unpopular opinion, but there are a lot of Spider-Man games that I love. People tend to only remember Spider-Man 2, and they always remember it as the best Spider-Man game of all time, and the best movie-based game of all time as well. I think it is awesome, and it was awesome at the time, it still is awesome now, but I do think there was better Spider-Man games. In this video, I'm going to discuss all of the recent, underrated Spider-Man games for you, and I'm going to tell you why I love them to this day.
Some guys never learn. And speaking of learning, you should learn how to count. Something tells me you're outnumbered. Gentlemen.
I really hate this fella.
Come on, he's a blast to kick in the face.
Pal, you got shot!
What's better than one Spider-Man? 4 Spider-Men. In Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, we get to play as 4 different Spider-Men. Original, or amazing as we can call him, Ultimate, Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Man Noir. In this game we get to experience 4 different combat systems, with each level having an epic boss at the end, including the likes of Green Goblin, Carnage, Deadpool and the Juggernaut. Each villain is also specific to the world the Spider-Man is from, so for example we're going to get a darker Green Goblin, a darker Vulture in the Noir world, then we're going to get a futuristic Hobgoblin and a futuristic Doc Ock. As I've said, we get 4 different combat styles. We get Ultimate Spider-Man using his symbiote abilities, we get Spider-Man 2099 using his cybernetic suit and his futuristic abilities and combat system, we get Noir Spider-Man using only his stealth, and then we get Amazing Spider-Man using his web-based attacks. It's just super fun, and due to this variation it just never gets old. It's a very interesting game, and we also get to hear Christopher Daniel Barnes voice Noir Spider-Man, which was a massive treat for myself, as he voiced Spider-Man in the 90s cartoon, and we all know how amazing that TV show was. There are only 2 downsides to this game in my opinion. Firstly, there's no web swinging and there's no open world, but an open world would not have suited this game. And also, the game is pretty short, coming in at around 5 to 6 hours, and only consisting of 13 levels, which is 4 levels per character with a final boss level at the end.
What has become of my city? What has become of its heroes? Its villains? How do I turn back the darkness?
The next Spider game on our list is a game that I have spoken about in previous videos, and it made my top 10 games of all time, which is Spiderman Web of Shadows. This game was released shortly after Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man Friend or Foe. Spider-Man 3 was meh, it wasn't too bad, but Friend or Foe was just dire, it was terrible. Spider-Man Friend or Foe was just a blend of a children's beat-em-up, co-op gameplay with, actually, that was it, that's all the game was, and it was just terrible, it sucked. Going back to Web of Shadows though, this game was brilliant for several reasons. Firstly, you could change between the symbiote whenever you wanted, which brought 2 different combat styles, which you could access whenever you fancied. Secondly, the web swinging was awesome, it truly was brilliant, probably one of the better of all time. I think people tend to forget how good it was. People always remember Spider-Man 2 being the best web slinging. For its time, yes, but then Web of Shadows massively improved on it. It was still doing the same things where webs were sticking to buildings, but it just was better, it was more free-flowing, and it looked cooler as well. Also, the combat system was truly epic. Still the best we have ever had, I think, and potentially it's still going to be better than this year's Spider-Man's combat system. The combat was all about moving and free-flowing from enemy to enemy, just like Spider-Man would. You jump from one enemy to the next, you fight enemies solely in the air. I remember a boss fight with Vulture being a 5-minute long air battle, which is so cool. Completely in the air, just fighting, flinging from enemy to enemy, web swinging and web swinging. It truly made you feel like you were Spider-Man. The game was also awesome because it gave you 4 different endings, which would happen depending on the choices that you get to make, which is pretty cool.
This is how it all began. Which, of course, leads to nonsense like this. I felt good. Great. More than myself.
So coming in as our next game on this list is Ultimate Spider-Man. This game is straight out of the comics, and by this I mean literally it follows the comic book storyline of Ultimate Spider-Man for around 30 to 40 issues. This, coupled with comic book style of cutscenes, makes you feel right in the comic books. The game also presented itself in a cartoony fashion, which mixed even better with the whole comic book vibe. And as you can see by the footage, the web swinging was really cool as well. The combat was pretty good for its time. I think it came out 2005, 2006, so it wasn't mind-blowing like Web of Shadows was, but it was good for its time. And I just think this game just made me realise how most superhero games should be made. If you don't have a clear-cut idea of how a game should be made for superheroes, they should just be taking it straight from comic books, because a lot of the time comic books have amazing plots and people love the storylines and people love it when superhero movies are based on the comic books. Do you agree or disagree with me? Do you think these games are actually underrated, or do you think they're not? Let me hear about your opinions in the comments down below, because I really want to hear what you've got to say. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps me a lot, helps support the channel. We're still new, it's still up and going, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.